Good evening and welcome to the Post Route, the show where we dive deep into conversations with black quarterbacks, both past and present. I'm your host, Earl Kitchings, and this show is proudly brought to you by Quarter-Fi Back. If you don't know, let me tell you, we are the preeminent fraternity for black quarterbacks and home of the prestigious BIP Memorial Trophy, the only award that honors both the top HBCU quarterback and the top black quarterback from high schools across the nation. So we got both bases covered, HBCUs and high schools. We're thrilled to have you with us tonight. If you enjoy our content and want to support what we're doing here on the Post Route, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Join us live every Monday night right here at 7 p.m. for more phenomenal conversations. And tonight, we got one more guy to speak about. And I know that you do not know of this name unless you are on the far west side of the Mississippi River. So we're going to engage him and enlighten you who don't know about him. For those who know about him out there in the state of Oklahoma, I hope you're tuning in so we can have this conversation. But of course, before we do that, we must go to our top 10 watch list for HBCU and our top 15 watch list for our high school guys who are making the inroad as we wind down this season to becoming the 2024 winners of the BIP Memorial Trophy, the only quarterback award for black quarterbacks. So for the HBCUs, let me start with those guys first. And there you have them, the HBCU quarterbacks. And we are proud to announce who they are, starting with number 10 on our list. And number 10, let me see. Let me make sure I got the right one for you guys. So the HBCU list starts at the bottom with the guy from Fort Valley, and that would be Mr. Kevin. And we're happy to have him at that spot. At number 9, we're going to keep moving right up the list. I'm sorry, number 10. Mark Wright has moved up number 10 after his game against Wingate this past weekend. So now Mark Wright of Virginia Union is number 10 with 2,167 yards, 20 touchdowns. At number 9, Darius Ocean, Johnson C. Smith, his year is complete. He finishes the year with 2,301 yards, 16 touchdowns. At number 8, Romello Williams. And interesting enough, 10, 9, and 8 are all from the CIAA. From Virginia State, Romello Williams, 2,322 yards, 21 touchdowns. At number 7, moving up from Florida A&M, Daniel Richardson, the graduate student, now at 2,469 yards and 21 touchdowns. He's got one more game to go. The guy who is making headway over there in the MEAC, that would be Eric Phoenix, another grad student for South Carolina State, 2,460 yards and 20 touchdowns. Get ready to see them at the Celebration Bowl in December. At number 5, making a big splash this past week is Draylon Ellis, another graduate student from the OVC and the Big South at Tennessee State, 2,733 yards and 22 touchdowns after 12 games. At number 4, Mekhi Higgins, a redshirt junior from Arkansas Pine Bluff out of the SWAC. He has 2,541 yards. So let me just correct that. Draylon Ellis, I'm sorry, will be at number 3 under our guest tonight. But at number 4 would be Isaiah Knowles of Albany State out of the SIAC at 25, 55, 32 touchdowns. Again, Draylon Ellis moved up to number 3. At number 2, Torrence Bardell, Langston University out of the league out there in Oklahoma, 2,735 yards and 26 touchdowns. And the guy who still sits atop of the list for the HBCU quarterbacks is David Wright out of Clark Atlanta University. He has finished his career as a junior this year, but 3,271 yards, 31 touchdowns. So that concludes our list of the HBCU guys. Now we go to our high school guys as we give you that list. and we've had some movement amongst those guys. So now coming in at number 15 is Antorius Johnson of Calera, Alabama, Calera High, 2,805 yards, 19 touchdowns. At number 14, DeAndre Golston of Leesville Road High in Raleigh, North Carolina, at 2,825 yards and 33 touchdowns. Coming onto the list for the first time this year is Inino Yapor, a senior out of Miami, Florida at Norland High School. He's now at 2,905 yards as they go into the playoffs with 19 touchdowns. Number 12, Rashawn Truell out of New Hampstead High School in Savannah, Georgia. He completes his season with 3,032 yards and 31 touchdowns. At number 11, Bryce Baker, East Forsyth in Kernersville, North Carolina, 3,099 yards and 36 touchdowns. Making his first appearance on the list this week at number 10 is Chris Jemerson, a senior from North Crowley High School in Fort Worth, Texas. He's played in 12 games, 3,210 yards and 49 TDs. At number 9, the guy that everybody's talking about and everybody should know about at the high school level, Julian Juju Lewis, the junior out of Carrollton, Georgia, and Carrollton High, 3,211 yards, 44 touchdowns. He's in the playoffs also. At number 8, Keelan Russell out of Duncanville, Texas, Duncanville High School, 3,212 yards, 46 touchdowns. Coming in at number 7, Cardia Collier, Alvarado, Texas, Alvarado High, 3,274 yards, 39 touchdowns. So you can see that group of guys, they are real close. And this guy also is close on that list. Bryson Riggins, Russell County out of Sealy, Alabama at 3,251 yards, 40 touchdowns. Number 5 would be Jackson Bird at Cleveland High School in Clayton, North Carolina, 3,283 yards and 35 touchdowns. At number 3, Jalen Hewitt, the senior out of Havelock High School in Havelock, North Carolina, 3,913 yards, 38 touchdowns. Antoine Hill also in the mix at 3,626 yards, 44 touchdowns. Coming in at number 2 is Peyton Houston, the gentleman who had the 800 yards this year in passing, Evangel Christian Academy, 4,625 yards and 41 touchdowns. And still atop the list for over 10 weeks now, the senior out of Jacksonville, Florida, Jordan Durham, Zarephath Academy, 5,542 yards, 52 touchdowns. And we just found out that they are on their way to the state playoffs in their classification. So that wraps up our high school guys from 1 to 15. That list is very impressive, and we're happy to be able to bring you that. Now, let me tell you who our quarterback of the week is. From Tennessee State, Draylon Ellis, the graduate student. Last week, he led the Big Blue Tigers to their first NCAA playoff berth in 11 years after he defeated Southeast Missouri 28-21 for a 4-way share of the Big South OVC Championship. They will be going out to Montana to play the Grizzlies. So he led them with 21 points in the first quarter and sealed the deal with a 42-yard run for the final score of the game against Southeast Missouri in the OVC game that put them in the 4-way tie. We got to give an honorable mention, though, to Mark Wright, the senior out of Virginia Union. He led the Panthers to a 34-31 win over Wingate, ending a D2 first-round playoff losing streak for Virginia Union. So they are now going to the second round. Mark Wright was 13 of 22 with 1 interception, 202 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Those are our quarterbacks of the week here at Quarterfied Back. So congratulations to those gentlemen, and we are definitely glad to have honored them. But tonight, my guest, all the way from Oklahoma, Langston, Oklahoma to be exact, a guy who put his name up on the board with some outstanding quarterbacks from that university that we hear little about because they are so far west and because they are not in one of the primary HBCU conferences. We don't get a lot of information about them, so we don't know about what's going on. But here at Quarter Five Backs, let me tell you, we're here to bring that information to you. And my guest tonight, he was our quarterback of the week, October the 14th, as he put up about 400 yards, 4 touchdowns in that game. And we're so honored and happy to have him. Please welcome my guest tonight, Mr. Torrence Bardell, hometown of New Orleans, Louisiana. Torrence, welcome to the Post Route.
Thank you for having me.
So, as I said to you earlier, I know a lot of people haven't heard about you, what you're doing out there at Langston. And had it not been a friend of mine telling me about a guy who he played against way back in the 60s and 70s, guy by the name of Princeton Poindexter. So you got to just know, with a name like Princeton Poindexter, man, you don't forget a name like that. Princeton Poindexter. It sounds like a nerd name, right? Yes, Poindexter. But he was quite a guy back in the day, throwing for Langston, and led them to some championships, led them to some NAIA playoffs. So I'm going to send you his information tomorrow, so you'll know exactly who he was and who he is. But before him, there was a guy by the name of Donald Smith, and he played for Langston back in the 50s and 60s, and he led the teams to some outstanding wins. He played for a guy by the name of Tim Chris, and they went 12-0 in 1957 in the high school era out there in Ardmore, Oklahoma. But he came on to Langston. Coach Chris coached him in high school. He left and went to Langston, and Donald Smith followed him there. And during the 59 season, he went 7-1. And during the 60 season, he went 9-1. And in 1961, he went 8-1. And he did all of that out there at Langston and became known as one of the top guys. He was named the OCC Back of the Year and the NAIA Total Offense Champion in 1961 with 2,118 yards. He was also named an All-American, and he finished his career at Langston with a record of 28-7. So that's just a little history about that gentleman. But we're here to talk about Torrence Bardell, that guy who is spinning it out there in the SAC conference. And you've had an interesting career. You know something about the SWAC. I know that much.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you know a little something about the SWAC because you played at UAPB for a minute before you got to Langston. Comparatively speaking, how would you rate the SWAC conference compared to the conference you're playing in out there at Langston? What would you say are some of the stark differences that make the two conferences unique for you having to play in both conferences?
Oh, I would say that like being in the SWAC, I didn't really play as many games because I was a freshman. I was behind Skylar Perry. But
okay.
The game speed was different. The talent, like HBCU, being in HBCU is like you see a lot of different talent from everywhere, and just playing there in Pine Bluff and at Langston, you have different people. Like offensively, like the O line and D line are completely different.
Okay.
The sack, some of them are smaller, but you got a lot of people that's hungry to play the game and not just be out there for the money.
Yeah.
And you know what, a lot of going on nowadays. So that's
okay. So coming out of Bardell High School in New Orleans, and you set some records there as a high school quarterback. How did you end up getting to Pine Bluff? Because you know Pine Bluff is kind of off the trail. How did you end up at Pine Bluff?
That was a crazy story. Originally, I was committed to the Naval Academy.
But, you too?
Yeah, I was committed to the Naval Academy. Yes, sir.
Our guest we had last week went to the Naval Academy. Cameron Smith.
Yeah,
he ended up at the Naval Academy, and then he transferred to Winston-Salem.
Yeah, no, I was committed there, but I didn't attend. They pulled my offer once COVID hit. They pulled my offer,
yeah.
And then my high school coach kept in contact with Pine Bluff, So he Coach Gamble, he had recruited me in my freshman year of he offered me my freshman year while I was at
Okay.
Jackson State. I was gonna walk on
Okay.
at Jackson State. I was gonna become a walk on at Jackson State, and Coach Gamble offered me, and I went down there in the spring semester and joined the team in the spring semester of 21.
Okay. And so playing at Pine Bluff, I mean, and playing in the SWAC, I mean, just being on the sideline in the SWAC at that time, man, you get a chance, like you said, you get a chance to see a lot of guys, a lot of talent, a lot of speed, and it's different. What was the factor that caused you to want to leave UAPB and maybe look at some other areas or opportunities?
Oh, just trying to get on the field to play.
Okay.
I originally I was the fourth string quarterback, and
At Pine Bluff?
Yeah, Pine Bluff. I was a fourth string behind Skylar Perry and two other another senior. That was my
Okay.
freshman
I
year.
got you.
And then the fall 21 season, I was third string quarterback, and I just was trying to play, get on the field. And coach was like, by week 7, he just moved me to safety. He switched me to safety. So I was like, yeah, I like it, but I just want to help. I want to do what's best for help the team. So, but I really wanted to play quarterback. So it was like, after the season, we went 2-8 that season. So I was like, I'm gonna just transfer, see what I can get. And I sat out. I ended up sitting out for a year. And I coached at Bonneville High School for a year, and then I got an offer with a couple of the players that I coached to Langston. So yes, sir.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's an interesting story that some of your players help you get to the next college. And it's also interesting that your coach decided to switch you to safety. Now, for me, having seen so many guys come through the pro leagues being switched from college to safety and wide receiver and cornerback, that doesn't, and it hasn't always sat well with me. So to hear that you got switched, you're a quarterback, man. Switching, no, we're not. No. Okay, coach, no problem. I'll do that for now, but you can. I'm giving you deuces after the season, coach.
I was betting on myself. That's all it was. I knew what I can do at the quarterback position. So I just took I took a gamble on myself.
Well, Torrence, I want to say the gamble, man, worked out in your favor because obviously you knew your skill sets and your talent levels, and I'm glad that the players helped you get there and the coach. You know, people kept their eye on you because they recognized that you had some talent. So the worst thing that would have happened is for that talent to be on the defensive side of the ball or to be on the bench.
Yes, sir.
So thank goodness that you had the foresight, man, to want to make a change. But I really got it. I mean, I understand you got it. What did you know about Langston before you got there?
Not much. I just knew that they had a player from my school that a lot of people that went there, like some of my coaches that coached me went there, but they was like, it wasn't the best place to be for real. But okay. I mean, I made the most of it since I've been here. So,
well, you know, for me to find you, obviously you were making the most of it, and then when you put up those 400 plus yards in that one game, that really jumped out to me. I'm like, this guy's out here doing some things that I got to let people know that there's a guy in Oklahoma doing some things that you don't know about because he's not in mainstream HBCU football, but it is our job as the preeminent fraternity for black quarterbacks to make sure that we expose everybody.
Right.
And like I told you, man, having known about these other guys from Langston, man, Langston has been on my purview. As a matter of fact, you know, trying to get some information to your sports information director about what I had found about some guys from back in the day. But I'm just so happy that, you know, you got there and you're doing what you're doing. And I know the coaches, I know the team appreciated your time there. So was this your final year?
This is my my last year undergrad. Yes, sir. I'll be a graduate student coming up in the next season.
And you will play next year?
Yeah, I'm planning to play, but looking to grad transfer. Yes, sir.
Oh, grad transfer. I got you. Okay, well, no matter what happens, man, you know, because we don't know our own destiny and the man upstairs don't tell us
Not
what
at
he's
all.
got planned for us.
Yes, sir.
We'll go someplace. But the fact that you have done what you've done this past year, man, kudos to you because I think you did a great job. And like I said, for us to find you and know that you're doing what you did, man, I was just praying that I would have an opportunity to bring you onto the show because I really wanted to talk to you about what you've been doing out there, man. And so now let's kind of go back to the brand of football you play against out there in that conference. What's that? The Southern Athletic or the
Soon Athletic
Sooner
Conference.
Sooner Athletic Conference. So a lot of schools out there we don't hear about because they're in the NAIA, so we're not going to hear about them a whole lot because until recently, the only black college on this side of the Mississippi River on the east side is Florida Memorial down in Miami. Edward Waters was in the NAIA, but they got out. So the brand of ball and the teams you play out there, and I know there's some strong teams out there. I've looked at some of the records and some of the statistics. So it's some strong teams out there. And for Langston being the only black college out there in Oklahoma, what has that been like for you to be playing schedules where you don't see, maybe other than Lincoln of Missouri, you don't see any other black colleges? What has that been like?
It gives you an opportunity to play different talent, really, and see the different programs and how they structure their programs, and know that like no matter every game that we had, we were not only fighting against the other team, but also sometimes the refs as well. It humbles you in a way, and it keeps you on your toes. So you have to be disciplined throughout the game. You can't just do crazy stuff and expect yourself to get a call or something. So yes, it's been a challenge though, but it also helped me as a player and helped me develop.
Well, I'm sure it definitely helped you as a player and as a student athlete because adversity, as they say, what don't kill you makes you stronger.
Yes,
So
sir.
I'm sure all of that made you stronger. Now, when those teams had to come and play you at home, was it different in those games as opposed to being on the road?
Yes, sir. Most of them, especially like our homecoming, is crazy as well. So that's one game that we always look forward to, like homecoming.
Okay.
But majority of the time when they come home, our fans and our support team is really really big, and just the atmosphere of those games is different than being on the road.
So because we don't know about, we hear about everybody else's homecoming, the tailgating and all that. Share with our viewers and our listeners just a little bit about the Langston University homecoming because, hey man, if we don't see it, we don't know anything about it. So I want to get some knowledge about how that thing is going out there in Langston.
It's definitely something that you should check out, honestly. Just from the beginning of the week, you can just feel the atmosphere in the air. You see all different type of people coming on campus, the alumni, all the Greeks. So then during the game you have all your band members, your returning band members, your old football players on the sideline, just cheering you on during the game, everything. So and then after the game, you got your concert right in the parking lot, right behind the stadium.
Okay.
Bunch of food. They still tailgating until 8-9 p.m. So it's an all day celebration.
Wow.
Yes,
Well, I you know what? I don't know how we're going to do it, man. And I'm unfortunately, you probably won't be on the field when this happens. But we need to make sure that those guys who do ESPN football, and I know they're about the NCAA. I get it. I understand. But when we talk about HBCU football, there's another way to get into something like this. And I think that we need to at least, if not next year, the year after, find a way to make game day happen. I know this would be huge for Langston.
at the
For
HBC
game day
level.
to be there, that would be huge. But out of respect to the fact that, hey, man, you're the farthest HBCU west. After Langston, there is nobody else.
No, sir.
Once upon a time, there were a few colleges down in Texas, Bishop, Wiley. They were around, but they're not around anymore playing football. So Langston has been around, and we need to educate our black fans about who Langston is and what they're doing. Because, like I said, had I not shared that history that I found about Langston and back in the day, you probably wouldn't have never heard about it either, because maybe nobody talks about it.
Not
right?
at all. Yes, sir.
So,
it's just overlooked.
Right. And the fact that, you guys out there in Oklahoma, and everybody knows, we know Oklahoma State, top dogs,
Mm-hmm.
but all the other NAIA schools out there in Oklahoma. So for Langston, other than Lincoln, what would be a pure rival for Langston during the course of a football season in the Sooner Athletic Conference?
I would say Ottawa, Arizona.
Is that
That's
right?
Ottawa, Arizona, or Texas Wesleyan. Yes, sir. In the recent years, yes, sir.
Okay. And you've traveled there to play them?
In Arizona, yes, sir. We went to Arizona this year. Yes,
Is
sir.
that right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And again, and excuse me, Torrence, it's just being a lack of knowledge about what goes on out there, man. So I'm just hungry right now to know how all this works out, because I can see it on TV at the big level, but for where you are, man, I'm so thirsty for what you got, man, and what you're doing out there. So, and to know that you're on that list of top 25 guys in the NAIA in passing this year. So, and then you left, you left NCAA and moved to the NAIA. Was that different too in the way they kind of do things out there in the NAIA?
Yes, sir. It was like just the eligibility, how that works. The practice with being at Langston, the practices that we do was different from being at Pine Bluff. The weight room was different. It was a lot of it's a lot of different things that humbled you as a player, and it made you it made you really love football. If you don't love it, you shouldn't even be here. That's what it was like being there.
Okay. So latter part of October, early November, is the weather starting to change, man, and you starting to feel that air come off the plains out there in Oklahoma, and it's getting a little colder?
That's cold. It's not what I'm used to. Definitely not what I'm used to.
Colder than Pine Bluff?
Yeah, yes, sir. Whole lot.
Okay.
Whole lot colder.
Well, a whole lot colder. I got you.
Yes, sir.
I got you. Well, I can imagine what it's like to play those schools in that conference, man, being that it's the Sooner Athletic Conference. So most of the schools in that conference are from the state of Oklahoma?
No. Really, there's only two teams from the Sooner Athletic Conference that's in Oklahoma. It's Oklahoma Panhandle and Langston, which is
so now I've heard. Now Panhandle has been a pretty decent program for years.
Yes, sir.
Is my understanding.
Yes, sir. That we have a rival game against them as well for the Battle of the Bell. So the only
Battle of the Bell.
Yes, sir.
And there's a real bell that you guys exchange?
Yes, sir. Langston been having a bell for at least 7 years. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Y'all been owning the bell. Okay.
Yeah, we've been owning the bell.
I love it. Okay. So I'm gonna take a quick time out. We're gonna come back. We're gonna talk a little bit more about you and Langston, and find out some other things about you as a person and what your goals and dreams are.
Yes, sir.
All right, stay with us. Hey, this is the Post Route. My guest tonight is quarterback from Langston University out in Langston, Oklahoma. You may have never heard of that school or not be familiar with it, but Torrence Bardell, remember that name, Torrence Bardell is our guest tonight here on the Post Route, and we're happy to have him on with us tonight being our guest. So as we get ready to go into the last couple of weeks of this 2024 football season, it's still time for you to start getting our gear. And let me tell you what I mean by that. Our logo t-shirt is now available. The official Quarter-Five Back logo t-shirt. I'm wearing it tonight. You see it. It's right there. It's in full color. We have decided for the holidays to mark the shirt down to just $25. You can get your t-shirt, go online, Zell it to us, 904-994-2189. Go to our website at quarterfiveback.com and email us from that and get your shirt, because I'm telling you, our merchandise is starting to ramp up. We have 2 T-shirts now. This is the full colored logo shirt. The other one is the black and white, what we call the lettered quarterfinal back T-shirt. We've got hoodies that we're looking at bringing on board, varsity jacket that we're looking at bringing on board. We're going to have even a golf package that we're bringing on board that's going to have some very unique things. And down the road, if you want to be a fully fledged member of Quarterfinal Back, we're going to be coming out with our own Quarterfinal Back fraternity ring, okay, for supporters and members of the organization. So keep that in mind. The other thing is, if you haven't gotten it yet, you can also get the book, The Forgotten QBs, written by myself, W. Earl Kitchings, the little-known history, information, and statistics about Black quarterbacks in the American college football, This book is what got Quarterfinal Back started. And I want to give a quick shout out to my man, Dennis Crosby, who was kind of the inspiration for me coming up with the name Quarterfinal Back. He gave me some valuable tips and gave us some valuable insight and input in what we were doing. So Quarterfinal Back is a part of what we do, and it was because of him, but the book was the impetus for us moving Quarterfinal Back to the forefront of being the entity that preserves the legacies of Black quarterbacks so that they are not ever forgotten. Just like our guest tonight, Torrence Bardell, we won't ever forget him because he will be in our archives for you to know about him. And then if you just want to be a part of what we're doing, you can always join us by becoming a member of Quarterfinal Back. And there's our teammate membership, $44 for that. You get the decal sticker, you get the certificate, and we have a different, so now we have 3 T-shirts, and that's our Heather Gray T-shirt with the Q5B logo on it in orange and black. So valuable ways to get this merchandise, and we will keep bringing you merchandise as we continue to grow our brand. So continue to hang in there with us. If you want to support us, just Zelle us $44 or $4.40 or whatever you feel that will help us as we continue our mission of preserving the legacies of Black quarterbacks. Let me get back to our guest tonight, Mr. Torrence Bardell, Langston University quarterback who led the Lions to outstanding season this year. And we're happy to have him to join us tonight and be our guest. So Torrence, welcome back to the show, buddy.
Thank you for having me back. Thank you for having me here. Yes, sir.
Okay, so now that your career at Langston is over, because you say you're going to try to continue to be in that transfer at a grad program, where would you like to end up if you can go somewhere else? Where would you like to end up? I know that's a hard question to answer, but you know, we all got a wish list.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just want to be in a program where I can have like a quarterback coach to develop me to get to the next level.
Okay.
No matter where. Yes, sir.
Gotcha. I got you.
Whoever God has me and has a plan for me at, yes, sir. And able to play.
And it wouldn't be a bad thing to end up at that school up there in Baton Rouge.
Yeah. hey, I always talk about that Bayou Classic, and I know the Bayou Classic coming up this week. So yes, I always talk about
yes, indeed. Nothing like that Bayou Classic, man. And then Southern, after the Bayou Classic, they get a chance to fight for the SWAC championship
yes,
with
sir.
the opportunity to go to the Celebration Bowl.
Yes, sir.
And man, let me tell you, that Celebration Bowl, man, is quite an event. I was there last year. Fortunately, my alma mater played in it and won it. But just to be in that environment, to see what they're doing, and to know that that is the bowl game for HBCUs. If you want to be a part of something special and you can get there, that's where you want to play. Yeah, that's where you want to be. Even if you don't play there, to go there and just witness the game, man. Unlike any other bowl game, is phenomenal. And I had a good time there last year. Looking forward to being there this year. So I pray that you get blessed to go somewhere. What's your major out at Langston?
health, physical education, and recreation with a minor in psychology. Yes, sir.
I see. Okay. Do you have any aspirations to maybe getting some extra degrees?
Yes, sir. I'm looking to get my master's degree in sports administration. So
Okay.
once football is over, like become a coach or athletic director somewhere.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, I guarantee you definitely need that master's if you want to be an AD.
Yes, sir.
And I would just share this with you. My youngest son is about to finish up his doctorate in sports psychology. So just something else to think about, because sometimes when you don't know, you don't know. But when
Yes, sir.
somebody can put a light on something and say, "Oh, I never thought about that," but okay, it's something to think about. But yeah, coach, athletic director, staying around the game, man. I mean, it's just something. And I see a lot of guys becoming mentors in the game of teaching quarterbacks. So, did you have a quarterback camp or coach that you had in high school that helped develop you to get you to college?
My quarterback coach, my junior year going into my senior year, Earl Sanchez. That was
Okay.
like he trains a lot of young quarterbacks in high school, and like now it's a lot of little kids coming up from middle school, high school. So yes, sir. Earl Sanchez was my quarterback coach my junior year going into senior year.
Okay. Well, it's interesting that you speak about the kids in middle school, because next week our guest is going to be a middle school quarterback.
Really? That's
Really.
that's crazy. That's amazing.
He's impressive because his dad films all his games and puts them on Instagram. So his games, his workouts, they're all
Everything.
out there, man. And we put something out there and he followed us back and we kind of communicated. And next thing I know, man, we're talking to him and I talked to his dad and we're going to bring him on the show, man. He's quite a package. I think he's just in 7th grade.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
And
On
so
social media, you can get it out. You get the film out.
exactly. So he is going through all the things that, you would be surprised that he's going through the training that he's going through. He's got a quarterback coach and a quarterback facility up there in Georgia. They're up in right outside Atlanta, Georgia, that he trains with, man. I mean, he's going through probably some of the same stuff a lot of guys in high school and college are going through. But to be this young, man, and he's got talent. Let me tell you,
Yeah.
he's got talent. And then at the end of the month, I got another middle schooler coming. He's in Memphis, Tennessee. And you'll love this, Torrence. In 1 week, he won the city middle school championship and the state middle school championship. On a Tuesday, he won the city. On a Saturday, he won the state.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Same week. Just the eighth grade. Just the eighth grader. But got in touch with him, man. Contacted his mom, and she's happy about it. We're bringing him on. So his name is Carry On Strong out in Memphis, and Jason O'Neal Jr. We nicknamed him, huh?
Out of Georgia.
Out of Georgia. We nicknamed him The Thrill. So the value of having a quarterback coach, and in this day and time, the importance of that is so critical.
It's huge.
What are your thoughts about the situation with black quarterbacks at the college level and the pro level? What are your thoughts about some of that right now as things are swirling around?
I feel like a lot of the quarterbacks right now is like not really getting developed. Honestly, like the ones that's in the league, yeah, they were developed under a right coach. And me myself, like up until high school, maybe my junior senior year, that's why I really taught myself. Well, I was my own quarterback coach, honestly.
Okay.
So, but I know a lot of those players haven't been prepared to be in the league. Really, like with the play call and the different. Some systems are just like hurry up offense or a quick tempo, and being in the league is like you have to learn the complex of the playbook, and knowing the playbook this week is changing from next week. And I feel like that's a huge thing. But the game is changing a whole lot.
So as you were growing up, was your aspiration always to be a quarterback?
No sir. I started off playing running back.
Okay.
Started off playing running back, yes sir. At the age of 5.
And what running back did you really like as you
Pierre
were growing
Thomas.
up?
Pierre Thomas.
Is that right?
Pierre Thomas from New Orleans Saints. Yes, sir. I'm 23.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Shout outs to him because, hey, man, when you see all these great running backs out there and you're playing running backs, of course, you want to, find some things that you can do like them. But then when you went to quarterback now, you switched. So now you're looking at, who do I want to emulate now? Whose game, not emulate so much, but whose games do I see that I really like that game and some of the things I see them do, I want to pick up on those.
Russell Wilson, Cam
Okay.
Newton. Russell Wilson, Cam Newton was those two quarterbacks that I like watched a lot.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Is that were they the reason why you might have picked the number you wore?
Yeah, Russell. Really, no. Russell was just my favorite quarterback, but the number came from my grandpa. Like,
Really?
he passed away when I was 15. So like me and my brothers, me and my brother and my cousin, we did this thing where it's like, I got the month that he was born. My
Okay.
brother had the year that he was born, and my cousin had the day that he was born. So it was like March 23rd, 1956. Yes, sir. So we just got that from my grandpa. Yeah, and I just stuck with 3. And I haven't realized that 3 was a significant number in my life. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a significant tribute, man, to honor your grandfather like that, man. And I know he's beaming from heaven about the fact that you guys honored him that way, man. That is beautiful. And to know that, you identified those 2 quarterbacks. As you look at quarterbacks in today's time in the NFL, what quarterback would you say really embodies, a prototypical guy in this day and time to be able to do it all?
I would say CJ Stroud.
Okay.
CJ Stroud, and he has it all, like running, throwing, just the way he carry himself. Russell as well still, because he comes back from injury and he's still chopping wood with the Steelers. So, and no matter what his circumstance was, he still keep his head up, and they both have they hope and they confidence in the Lord. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. How would you rate Patrick Mahomes?
Oh, one of a kind. One of a
One of a
kind.
kind?
That guy is doing it. He's doing it all. Like, and I didn't want to say him, but because that's everybody's guy, but he's doing it all, man. He's doing it all.
Hey, Torrence, the truth is the truth, man.
So,
Okay. So let me ask you 2 names to see if you know these 2 names from an HBCU standpoint. Have you ever heard of the name Willie Totten?
Willie Totten from Mississippi Valley.
Okay. Okay.
Yes,
So you know what he did.
Yes, sir.
And man, that guy was phenomenal playing for Valley because, well, of course, he had the greatest receiver ever to play for him.
Right. Yes,
Okay. And they were doing some phenomenal things during that year in 1984 when they made the news. And then, in my opinion, the greatest quarterback, I know from the HBCU, I would say he's one of the greatest to ever play in the NFL, but the greatest from the HBCU ranks, Steve Air McNair.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Alcorn State.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
he
So,
did it.
yeah, I mean, because, when you look at a Steve McNair, I mean, think about it. When he was playing, he could throw it and he was good at running the ball. Nowadays, many quarterbacks, they want the ability to run the football because the defense is so fast.
Yes, sir.
Defense is so fast. So it's like you can stay in that pocket if you want to.
No, because you got linebackers moving the defensive end now, and on a quicker edge rusher on a tackle, which is like they speed is a 4.2 or a 4.4, like coming off the ball, like that's just too explosive. So you're gonna have to the pocket collapse. You're gonna get out of there and make a play. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, that's interesting, man, because in growing up as a kid, man, we never thought about being drop back quarterbacks. We just thought about playing the position. You ran it when you had to run it. You throw it when you could throw it. It wasn't no just straight drop back because, well, even when we were kids, that speed is gonna get you.
Yep. I would say the first quarterback that I ever watched was Mike Vick, just doing that. Michael Vick. So,
okay.
Yeah, that's what kind of like when I first started, I was like, all right, Michael Vick, he was throwing it and running it. So and that was like my dad's favorite quarterback. So he just kept watching him, and we just modeled that from the get go. So.
Well, I've shared this with folks too, that Michael Vick definitely was that prototypical running, passing quarterback. But before him,
Mm-hmm.
it was a guy by the name of Randall Cunningham.
Randall, yep.
And I bring that up simply because I think Randall gets overlooked sometime because he was not that fast quarterback, but he had skills to be able to run. He was elusive. He could take a hit and he could throw the football. Unlike when you got guys like Dante Culpepper at 260 pounds, just sitting in the pocket like, dude, he's not doing too much running.
Not at all. Not at all.
When he does, you don't want to get trucked by a guy like that. So no. Interesting. So let me ask you this, and I'm just curious because every time I watch a football game, man, I just get I laugh so much when I look at all the rituals that guys do when they score a touchdown or make a big play. What was your ritual? What's your ritual if you do something real big or something? What's been your ritual?
It was just point to the sky, really. Just give all the thanks to God. Yep.
Okay. Okay. But your teammates, they got the hands and the dapping and all of that stuff.
They got their dances. They have their dances. Yes, sir. And I had different handshakes with my receivers and the running back, so we were like pretty tight. So yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I know that takes some coordination to think of it, to put it into work, and then the other part is when I see a guy go from one guy to the next guy and they change up that dap or whatever, I'm like, man, how do you remember how to do all that with all these guys? You got 4 or 5 guys, and it's all different for all 5 guys. It's like, how do you remember all of that stuff, man?
I don't even know. I just know once I see my teammate and we got this dap, we do it, and then I see my other teammate, and it's just like, remember. I don't know how we memorize it, but it just happens. I guess from repetition, from doing this.
Man, repetition. Let's talk a little bit about the seriousness of the quarterback position, if you don't mind. When you talked a little bit about playbooks, teaching young men how to do that, understanding and reading that playbook and becoming very versed at that. And then one of the things that really I struggle with watching sometimes is the progressions when guys are under pressure or they make erratic throws. They don't go through their reads correctly at times. So your thoughts and feelings about some of that?
Pretty much, I would say definitely being able to study the game and watch the film of knowing what the defense is going to do, because by that time you on the field, already your play that's called, and what's the progression in the reading. And reading the defense is probably the key. The pre-snap read, the post-snap read, and what if the pocket collapse? What are you doing? Are you looking to run first, or are you looking to pass and seeing who's? So most of the time when the pocket collapse for me is like this recent year, I was more so like just trying to get my guys the ball. So I wasn't looking to run first, but it was like if I get out of the pocket, I'm looking downfield still to try to make something happen. If they not moving the way or they covered, I'm gonna just go. But that's being able to extend a play outside of the pocket is a big thing for quarterbacks. And if you just making plays in the pocket and the pocket collapsing, you don't know how to get out the pocket and make a play, because not every play is going to be 3-4 seconds. You got the time to get the ball off, or you're able to sit in the pocket and throw the ball. So that's a huge thing, being able to move and work that pocket and get out yourself.
Okay. Do you prefer just a straight pocket, or do you prefer a rolling pocket?
Both a rolling pocket, really. Like, you can stay in the pocket a little bit, but just roll, like the rollouts will help the defense. Help you with the defense and stand on their toes and being honest and being true to what they're gonna do. Because like sometimes you have a backside blitz coming, and if you rolling away from it sometimes. So that is big too. Because I know when we played Ottawa, Arizona, they were sending 6, 7.
Right.
So you had to find a way to get out of that.
Okay. And of course, as they all say, speed kills, and that pressure comes, man, and it changes your mindset. You walk up there and you see one thing, and then before that snap comes, all of a sudden it's like 2-3 more guys appear, and it's like, uh-oh, now what do I do? Do the receivers paying attention to that too, Torrence, when they line up and they see that, okay, now it looks like 6 guys coming, 7 guys coming, so they know they need to make an adjustment in their route?
Yes, sir. Like me and my receivers, we always had like extra film sessions, or we always talked about it. And if we see something different, they'll point it out to me. If like, oh yeah, he coming, and I'll be like, all right. And so we'll check a route. He'd be like, I'm gonna run this, or they'll be like, I'm gonna do this. We check to something quicker, like we are communicating. So I know that they know. We'll give a little gesture back to each other to make sure that we're on the same page, and we'll check and change the play. And then most of the time when we do that, catch them off guard, and we got them.
Okay.
We roll them. Yes, sir.
One last thing as it relates to this. Now, I recall when I was growing up and watching, I had a friend of mine. He was the first black quarterback in Florida. He was a very astute guy of the game. He knew the game backwards and forward. And one thing I don't see a lot of times in this day and time is guys with the snap count. I mean, you get in the shotgun and everything's a clap of the hands. Remember back in the day, we could do a hard count, we could do a soft count, we could do a on 1, on 2, on 3, first sound. I mean, all those things confuse the defense. Or if you needed a 5 yards and a first down and you're 3 yards off, you can do that count thing and get them off. I don't always see that happening. Is that just something that's been a part of football now that they've gotten away from that, or it just depends on who the quarterback is?
I feel like it depends on the offensive style, the tempo that you pushing. Because like my coach Mason, he had different cadences. He made sure that every meeting that we had, we were up in front of the whole offense, all the quarterbacks in front of the whole offense doing the cadence, so that everybody knew the cadence, and you're not gonna jump because you know the cadence and you know what is on. So I think, and then like 2 minute, or like sometimes when we in a hurry up offense, like when we ready, we trying to, then it's a quicker cadence. But if we slowing the game down, we using it and we stretching the cadence out. Yes, sir. So the cadence is like, it really depends on the offense. I feel like the tempo that you pushing. Yes, sir.
Have you ever gone into the game in the first series that y'all went into was like y'all started running a 2-minute offense? Have you ever done that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like honestly, the game where I threw for 400, the OPSU game, we scored like the first play. So it was just like that. Dude, like we had got a delay a game. We got a delay game because we was getting out there and the formation was wrong. And I was trying to tell the coach, like, we had to change the formation. So our coach was screaming. He was like, why we got to delay? Why we can't get lined up? And the next play, it was 1st and 15. Next play, boom, touchdown.
Well, in that game, man, I looked at your stats. I'm like, you didn't throw a lot of passes in that game.
No.
To throw 400 yards, you didn't throw a lot of passes. And I'm going to say that after the first half, you were done.
Yes, sir. No, but I ended up playing the second half as well because we were down 31-14, and we didn't run that many plays that game. We ran like pretty much the same concept almost. Okay. And we were just executing on that. But that game I played the whole game from start to finish. We were running and throwing a little bit. Yeah. My receivers were just making plays, and they were doing some things that you don't see that you can't teach.
Right. Guys come back to the huddle and say, man, I'm hot. Keep throwing it to me.
That's pretty much what it was. Like he won, and we had 3 receivers go for 100 yards that game. So it was like, that was the first time in Langston history for that to happen. And I didn't even know that until like the following week. So yes, sir. They were just doing some things. That was the battle of the bell. They was battling for the bell. I could say that.
Well, hey man, I wish I could have seen that game. It sounded very exciting. Yes, well, Torrence, it's been my pleasure, my joy, man. I know you got a couple of shout outs to your mothers. I'm gonna let you go ahead and do those before we close out. Let you give the shout out. I don't want to do. I'm gonna let you give the shout out to your mothers.
Yeah, shout out to my mom, Lakeisha Bardell and Amanda Clements. Without them and my village, things wouldn't be the way it was, and I wouldn't be the person that I am.
Okay,
Yes,
very good, very good. Well, you stay safe, young man. Stay humble and stay hungry
yes,
as
sir.
you continue to pursue what you're pursuing. And by being a guest with us tonight here on the Post Route, as we do with everybody who comes on, we like to welcome you to the fraternity of Black quarterbacks and welcome you in to Quarter Five Back, the fraternity, the preeminent fraternity for Black quarterbacks. So what we'll do is we'll get you your letter and your certificate stating that you are a lifetime member
Yes,
of this
sir.
fraternity and this organization. And we are truly thankful for you, man. And I'm just so happy and proud of you. So continue the good work, man. Is there anything else you want to share with us before we get out of here?
Now I just want to say thank you for having me. I'm honored. I'm blessed. I can't thank you enough, and I appreciate this opportunity. Appreciate you for having me on the show. So yes, sir.
Okay, well, let's stay in touch, man. I want to keep up with what you're doing. I want to make sure that you in the right place after you leave Langston, and we want to just keep up with you and see how things going. And wishing you and your family the best Thanksgiving holidays that y'all can have, man. Go ahead and pig out since you don't have to train no more right now, and go ahead and grub down for Thanksgiving. And we'll talk to you on the other side as we keep this thing going forward. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. You have a good one.
Thank you. All right,
have a
you
happy
too. Thank you
holidays.
again.
So,
All right. Okay, thank you, Torrence. Torrence Bardell, our guest tonight here on the Post Route, Langston University, the Langston University Lions. He was the quarterback this past year, had a phenomenal game, threw for over 400 yards in one game, so he did his job quite well all year long. Before I close, I've been meaning to do this the last couple of years. I got to give a shout out to Miss Willie Mae Wright. I know I was supposed to do it a couple of shows ago. I missed it, but I'm going to do it tonight. Miss Willie Mae Wright, thank you for being a supporter and a fan of what we do here at Quarter Five Back. And we thank you. And we also thank Willie Wright, your son, for being a part of what we do here at the Post Route. Without fans like you, man, this show just would not be the same. So thank you. And again, we want to thank those people who helped make this possible. And as we get ready for preparing to go to the Celebration Bowl, we want you to know that we will be there to cover that game, to watch South Carolina State and whomever wins out of the SWAC. So we look forward to that. We want to remind you that you can get your membership, $44 for a teammate membership, $4.40 for a supporter. Get your T-shirt, the official Quarter Five Back logo T-shirt. I got to always thank my crew for doing a great job by what they do for us tonight. Will Relaford, our chief photographer, thank you. Kemal Lazir, our chief social media director, for all he does on Instagram and online. And of course, my number one right hand, Miss Ronline Kennedy, our producer and director, for the outstanding and professional help that they do. Keep us pointing in the right direction, guys. So until next week, here on the Post Route, as we always say every week, go deep and go for the bomb. Until next Monday night, I'm saying goodbye. Happy Thanksgiving to all. God bless you. Take care.